and welcome back to another tutorial about the Korg Pa5X. In this tutorial we are going to take a look at how easy it is to convert Yamaha styles to Korg Pa5X styles. It only takes a few minutes once you have done it a few times, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's load the Yamaha style in Cubase to convert it to a Pa5X style. In this tutorial we are going to convert the song CC Rider from Elvis Presley. It's a great Yamaha song style, and we are going to transfer it to the Korg Pa5X. Now, how do you do that? So here we have the CC Rider style file from Yamaha, and we need to convert it to MIDI file to be able to convert the labels. So the only thing you have to do is to rename it to a MID file. So now it's a MIDI file, and we can drag it into Cubase. Let's drag it into Cubase. It will load it, and we don't need this anymore. And you will see the complete structure of the Yamaha file. So all the labels are in there. There are some specific things for the Yamaha that we are going to remove. And if we are going to zoom in, you see all the elements that Yamaha needs for their style. And of course these aren't the labels that we are going to use in the Korg, because Korg uses a different naming structure. But all the information is over here, and we have the drums, the ACC 1 to 5, the bass, the percussion. It's all in there, so it's really easy to convert. So how are we going to do that? At first there's a SysX data track, and we don't need that. This one contains information about speed, specific song selections for Yamaha, and we don't need that on the Korg, so remove that lane. Another thing is that we don't need the introduction block of the Yamaha. So if you zoom in, you see that the song starts at main A. So if you double click main A, you will see here starts the MIDI information, and we only need the MIDI information for the Korg Pa5X. So we are going to split the file with Alt-X, or you can do it manually with the scissor, but Alt-X immediately cuts all the lanes at one time. So we can remove the labels and the part for main A from the original file. So press Ctrl A and set it at position 1. And if we zoom now to the complete item, we have to set the correct length of the selector range, because that's what we are going to export in MIDI. So in this case it ends at 47. So we set the end locator at 47. So basically we are almost done now. There are a few things that we need to do. There are some important things. Yamaha uses a different order of the elements. So the bass line is always the third one, and most of the time it's called percussive organ in Cubase. So we are going to drag that to the first one, and the first one is always the percussion or extra drums on top of that. So that's the percussion elements in the Korg. So now we only need to modify the MIDI numbers. So this one is number 9, because the bass is dedicated to MIDI channel number 9, and the percussion is dedicated to number 11. So let's modify it. So now we have the bass on 9, 10, 11, and the ACC 1 is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So everything is correct now, accordingly to the Pa5X. So the only thing we have to do now is change the labels, and you can do that in two ways. You can select that label and press the E, and you will have the labels over here, or if you're something like me and want to use shortcuts, you can press Ctrl M and you get that same screen. Now select the one, and you see the various elements of the style. So let's make it a little bit bigger. And how does this work? Well, main A, B, C, D is basically variation 1, 2, 3, 4. Fill 1, A, B, C, and D are fill 1, 2, 3, 4. Intro A, B, C is not intro 1, 2, 3, because Yamaha has changed the chord specific elements. So in a Korg, the intro 1 always contains the chord structure, and in the Yamaha file that's in intro C. So we need to map the intro C to intro 1 and the intro A to intro 3, because this is the count in on a Yamaha. And in a Korg, the count in intro is in intro 3. So we need to modify this in the labels, and the same applies to the endings. So ending C is the ending 1, and ending A is the third ending. So the fill in BA is the break. So all the elements are here. So the only thing we have to do is to modify it now and give it the correct labels. I showed the label structure in how to create your own styles from MIDI files tutorial, and the same applies over here. So let's change it. We are going to say main A, that's the variation 1, so it's V1 CV1. And if you don't know this naming structure, it's in the manual, you can find it over there. The second one is main B is variation 2, so enter that one, V2, chord variation 1. Main C is the third, CV1, and main D is the fourth. Fill 1AA is the first fill, so it's F1 CV1, BB is F2 CV1, F3 CV1, and DD is F4 CV1. The intro A was the third intro on the keyboard, as I said, so that one is I3 CV1. B is I2 CV1, and the intro C is the specific chord start of that song, so that's I1 CV1. Same applies to the ending. This is E3 CV1 because that's a short ending, E2 CV1, and the ending C is E1 CV1. The break code is BR CV1. So now we have completely changed the structure to the chord naming convention. You see it also over here, and basically we are done now. Export it to a MIDI file. So we are going to select export MIDI file, and we are going to say Pa5X CC Rider, so that we can recognize it. This is our converted file. Okay, here we have the export file. The export locator range should be activated. Export as type 0 and export markers, and press OK. So we have saved it now. You can find it over here. And now we have to add this one to our Korg Pa5X. So let's do that. We do copy. Let's open a file on the Korg Pa5X by pressing the file button and then the menu button and then USB connection activated. We are going to enable it. So here's the Korg Pa5X disk, and we are going to copy it to a file on the Korg disk. Disable the drive again. So now it's on the Korg Pa5X, but we have to load it in there and create our new Pa5X style. So let's go to the Pa5X and create that style over there. So we are now on the Korg Pa5X, and we need to create a new style based on that MIDI file that we just created in Cubase. So you are doing this by pressing the Direct Edit button, and we are going to say New Style. It says, do you want to create a new style? Yes, we do want that. And we are coming in the Style Editor. Now, we have a MIDI file ready for that, so press the menu button, the Import Export tile, and select that specific Pa5X CC Rider item. It's there, and press Execute. Press the Exit button, and now our complete style is filled in the new Style Editor. And it immediately works. If we are going to press the intro 1, you get a default setup of that song. So it's all basically there, but there are some things that you need to change. For instance, on Yamaha styles on the intro 2 there's also a chord variation, and we need to say, hey, the intro 2 is a no transpose chord variation. So we are going to change that bass and the elements that have something specific. If the delete current chord variation is grayed out, then there's no MIDI part on that element, so you don't need to change that. But these ones do have something on there. So we need to create the table no transpose, because this is a specific chord pattern that was from the original file. So we change that for the elements. And you have to do this only for intro 2 and for ending 2, because the same applies to ending 2 in the Yamaha style. You also need to say, hey, no transpose for ending 2. And these ones don't have anything. And now we're done. It's that easy. So save the style. We are going to say, hey, this is the called C rider. And we are going to add that in a specific song styles bank that I've created, and we can, so that I can find the specific song styles that I've converted or created myself. So it's there, we don't need the editor anymore. So the CC Rider song is now in there, but it won't be correct because we still need to assign the correct sounds to the mixer. And that's really easy to do. We have the bass, the pop kit and the Latin percussion kit. And we have the 5 elements. Well, the bass is a good starting point for most Yamaha songs. So we only need to set the 5 elements. Now how are you going to do that? You need to know what kind of sounds are on ACC 1 till 5. And that's where Cubase comes in again. You see over here 5 elements. And you see that on ACC 1 the electric guitar is added, a piano, a muted guitar, a brass sound and a trumpet on the final one. So let's assign those sounds to there. So we need a clean guitar sound on ACC 1. So select one. I like a Stratocaster, clean. So let's use this one. And on the second one we need a piano sound. So let's use a piano. A pop upright piano is in most cases a good starting point. We need a mute guitar sound, so let's select one of those. I'm going to use the Les Paul DI mute. That's a nice mute sound. It's also a little bit of personal preference. We need some synth brass sounds, so let's use one of the powerful brass sounds in the system. I like the brass of power. And in the last one we need the trumpet, so let's select one of the trumpets. Yeah, let's use the default one, trumpet 1, D and 2. So basically we have set it up, we are going to save the style and we have all the elements now in our system. So now we have the correct sounds and the only thing we have to do now is to set the correct levels and do some basic programming. So let's do that now. We don't need Cubase anymore, so let's go to the complete screen. So we're here now. So first let's do a quick test with the sounds that we have assigned to it. Well, that doesn't sound bad at all, but you also hear a cowbell. That means that the Latin percussion kit isn't the right one. So you have in Yamaha styles you have 2 possibilities. It's a percussion element or it's a second drum kit, and in this case it's a second drum kit. So let's use a drum kit from the Korg. So let's use Pop Kit 1 RR, some round robin kit. And I always like that combination of Pop Kit 1 and 2 round robin. Those really work well together. Now we have those. So let's try it again. We are going to save the style. I'm always saving a lot. Yeah, that's really good. And now we are going to do some remixing and add the power of the Korg Pa5X, the sounds, to make it sound a little bit better. So we need a lot more bass sound in this thing. So what I'm going to do is do a little bit of remixing, and as we all know, if you are going to set the levels, you always set the drums and bass first and then all the other elements. So let's do that. So we are going to lower the other elements. So let's make this a little less. So let's add a lot of bass and let's go from there. Yeah, here are all the elements playing on variation 3, so we can use that for remixing it. So I want more bass presence, so let's add an insert on the bass. We are going to use an amplifier with a bass model, so that I can model it a little bit better, a little bit louder. A little less presence, a little bit mid. Let's create some extra dynamics in the drums. A little less high, less sensitivity, less attack. Yeah, you can see over here in the screen that it's now correct. So let's use the this is okay. We don't need a chorus for this, so let's give it 3. Yeah, fine. Let's add the second one, the upright piano. So this is a nice mix of all the elements. So let's finalize it, make it a little less loud, do some basic compression, add some EQ. Yeah, a lot better. Let's set the effects, the reverb on top of it. Let's set the effects and levels. We are going to remove the reverb for the drums and bass, so that that's really clean. Add some extra effects to the yeah, nice. So let's try it. You hear all the fills and the extra breaks. And the ending. So the complete endings are there because we basically transferred that. So and we can play the complete song now and do some extra programming, but it's really easy to transfer a Yamaha style to the Korg Pa5X, and now you have a new song style from Elvis Presley over here by adding a few steps. And if you are really handy with this, you can do this within 5 minutes. This is really easy to do. So that's it for now, and hope to see you in the next tutorial.